Okay, good afternoon or good morning, wherever you may be in the world. This is Sam Tolbert, Sound of Joy Music Services. I haven't done a live stream in a few weeks. I felt like putting one together, showing you how to build your own chords. So we'll give a chance for some to gather. I know I may have caught people around the different time zones, my usuals who come in and say hi to me. Let me just verify that my chat is operational. Always got to check my spelling. All right, we have 2 viewers in there now. Please stop in, say hi. And if you get a chance, share this chat. Because we're going to be here probably a half an hour at the most. So I'm going to try and keep it to a half an hour. But if there, of course, if there are questions, then I will always stop to answer questions. So teach me how to build my chords. You can't hear me very well. Systems look okay here. My input shows that it's okay. Is it too loud? Very muddy? Cracking? Too hot? Or they say too loud? How's the piano sound? You're my eyes and ears to how my stream is going. Let me look at what I see here. Microphone may be a little too hot. It's a little quiet. Wow. Hold on. I can adjust that too. How's that? I just brought the volume up. How's that volume now? I just brought it up a bit. 2, 3, 4, 5. This is always good to know. Let me just adjust it up a little bit higher. Okay, we're not going into the yellow, but we did bring it up some. Thanks for your feedback. I always play these back whenever I've recorded them. And sometimes the speakers I play it back may be set a little higher than yours may be at home. So, teach me how to build my own chords. When I began my musical journey, it wasn't as a piano player, but it was as a French horn player in the public high school system in the Bronx, New York. My music teacher's name was Mr. Alexander Altieri, and I asked him, can he show me how to play some chords on the piano? Well, he showed me 3 chords and then told me, that's all I'm going to show you because you are not here to learn to play piano. You are here to participate as a French horn player. But I've never forgotten those 3 chords he showed me and a little bass run. It's a jazz chord. I'm not sure what song it may be tied to, but it gave me my first glimpse of how I can take chords and just build them around music. So I'm going to share those same chords with you. Now, for some reason, he went to the key of D. Why would you show someone learning to play piano the key of D? Challenging, number one. And maybe that is the key he wanted to put me in so that I would stop asking him. But I learned it exactly the way he showed it to me. This is the chord he gave me. D, A, D on the left hand, F sharp, C sharp, and F sharp on the right hand. Now we say sharp because we're in the key of D, which has 2 sharps in it, the F and the C sharp. If we're in a different key, we would say G flat or D flat if we're going in the opposite direction. But these are the chords he showed me. Now he went up to D flat, excuse me, E flat, B flat, D flat on the left hand, G, D, and G on the right hand. and then went up another octave, or excuse me, another what's the word? Chromatically up. Here we go. Now we're in D, D, B, D, G sharp, D sharp, and G sharp. He went back down. Now those are the only three chords he showed me. And then he gave me a little bass run. So he went G, A sharp, A, D. And it did it kind of like a roll. And he put a nice jazz run with it. Now, that's not a song, but that's what he showed me. A young, I'll say 15-year-old, music-minded French horn player who wanted someone to teach him to play piano, but that's all he would show me. But you know, a nice, because of the pitch, where everything is pitched, you get that low bottom and you get that middle there. Not too much high there. But from a chord standpoint, every other chord I learned now as I progressed in self-teaching piano built off of that concept. Bottom, middle, and then everything else got added. So that's what I'm going to give you guys. I'm going to give you guys a concept that I use in how I build my chords. I want to teach you how to build your chords. But let's go to the key of C, which is a little more favorable than the key of D. Because again, anything you learn in one key, you just transpose it up to the next key. Everybody teaches you the root C, C, D, C, E, G, and a bottom C major chord. Then if you want to add a ninth chord to that, of course, you go a little higher. Now, I don't have my Chordy app working. Got computer issues. Everything's going to be replaced this week. As I said, I was looking to upgrade, and this computer is now forcing me to upgrade this week so that I can give you better content. So I'm not going to have the Chordy app running today, have it bouncing in and out on me. But that C root chord is, you know, generic. Then you give me the F and the G. Go back to the C. Now, chords for me have one purpose. They help to support a melody. But if there's in absence of a melody, you're going to need more notes so that that chord can sound fuller. So generally what I'll do is I'll add what they call the ninth chord, or the ninth note, from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the ninth note of that scale, I'll bring it down. Now I just filled that chord. Now that it's there, in fact, if you know one of the daytime shows, I'm not going to say which daytime soap it is, but that's all they're doing. Ninth chords. Still kind of low. Okay, I'm gonna tweak it up just a little bit more. 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. You'd have to let me know if it starts to hum. So it may be that because I don't have my microphone really tweaked that high, I didn't want to be competing with the keyboard. But thank you. That lets me know how it's coming across. So when you're playing chords, all I did was adding this note lower. when you're ready to start building your chords, you're going to add additional notes. Now, if you want to stay within the actual scale, you have all these notes between these two octaves, or really in the key of C, between these two octaves, one octave, two octaves, in which to fill out your chords. I love to hear, again, a high note in every chord that I do. If it's a G note, then every chord is going to be below that. Every note is below the highest note. Every chord, I should say, is below the highest note. Put a bit on the outside. All those chords you just saw me play are within the range, which would be all of these notes. So whatever's in the range of these octaves are open to me. Now, yes, I said C, but we don't have to stay in C. Still in the range of these notes, and we include, of course, your sharps and your flats also. That's the coloring of a chord. Take a C chord, or add a ninth to it, add a seventh to it, add a sixth to it, add a minor six, yeah. Still in the C family of chords. And every time you add a note, you change the flavor of that chord. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. But every time you add a different note, the flavor of that chord changes. Now, if you go higher, and so forth. What's the concept? Find the note that supports what you want to hear. You want to hear a sad sound? Then you want to go with a minor, what I call the sad chords. Or that classical sound. Not too many people like that minor sound, unless, of course, you're going to come out of it. Seventh chord, I think. No. There it is. So if in the minor, throw that seventh chord. And that's, again, same concept. Same changes, same concept. But now if you just roll chords forward, here it is. Still has a nice feel to it because you're just working with what notes that you're actually selecting. And it doesn't hurt to take your hands off the keys and do something else with it. The sustain pedal gives you that, lets you hold it so you can move your hands and do something else. That's another lesson, how to incorporate the actual the sustain pedal in your playing. You don't have to sustain on all the time. All the notes start to crash, but you got to know to hold, release, hold, release, hold, release, hold, because you want a continuation of what you're doing, which is important when you're playing chords on a piano, because as I say, if you don't touch it, you can press it, and after a certain amount of seconds, that note is going to fail for as long as you hold it. You know, I'm holding it now, but you don't hear it. You don't hear it anymore. So you have to be able to continually hit it, or use the sustain pedal, so that you can now release that note and go to something else. All part of the chord building. So let me see, don't have any questions. How many do we have? We have 5 in the room. I always like to hear questions because it gives me a chance to see whether or not I can incorporate, if I'm missing anything. Melody needs a bed of chords to be supported on. Let's use the ABCD song. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. So with those same chords, A, B, C, D, is my 9th chord. E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P. Put those chords, all right, supported that melody with just a basic chord. I'm not gonna sing. Jazz chord, diminish, minor, 6 chord, right? G6, right? G6, another diminished chord in G. Chords have a way of giving a different expression to the coming out of the person that's playing. Now, you'll hear me, if you've seen a lot of the several hundred videos that I have, I purposely try to change every verse that I do in a song. I'll do it straight to begin it. Second time around. Just to give it another flavor of coloring. Then I'll begin to use, of course, the rest of the keyboard from there to enhance where that melody is going. If I want to go to a diminished chord, into a minor, or a 6th chord, into a 7th chord, to an out of the realm chord. Melody stays the same, but I'm giving another chord out of it to resolve. So the chording concept. Build chords by knowing what their names are first. A major chord, a minor chord, +5 chord, 7th chord, a 6th chord, a -6 chord. I think we've said diminished already. If I didn't say a diminished chord, what other chords are there? There's of course the 9th chord. It's the C 9th chord. Now I'm using these chords that are in C, but when you're playing a song, whatever note you play, you have license to use all the chords in those keys. You have a license to do that musically. So if the melody is going, it's just a scale. I use all the chords that are available. And I use all the major chords in that scale. So, but I have a license musically. Welcome, Katrina. But I use the license to go and borrow. Basically, what that is, if I'm in the key of C and I want to borrow a chord in the key of D, I can borrow it to get me to the G. You see. In a melody, My Country 'Tis of Thee, but I'm borrowing the chords. Borrowing chords, what I call all chords have, all scales have cousins. This is the family in the scale, in the C of C. This is all the family members in the key of C, but they have cousins. And you go to D, which uses now has the F sharp and the C sharp. Even though you're in C, you can those cousins can be a part of your chord. Let me see. There we go. I borrowed the C sharp to finish a chord. Or I'm borrowing now the F sharp, which is not in the scale, but in the scale of D, which is a family member of C sharp scale. Which means I can now borrow the F sharp to make a nice colorful chord. And so on. So it's all about finding your scales first, your corresponding scales, your chords in all the keys. Where are they? How do they sound? All the minor chords, or the 6 chords rather, the minor 6 chords. Because you never know which chord you want to borrow, depending upon the melody. Now, can you have a song with just chords? Yes, you can. The one I gave you. I don't know what that song is, but I can do it in any key. I can go to, let's go see it. A little bit higher. Doesn't sound as nice as it did down here, but you can, as they say, transpose it to another key using that same pattern. I kind of like it down there. So the chord building starts with you. Where's your first note going to be? What key you're going to be in? Let's take, we've been in C this time. Let's take you to D flat, because I love doing all the keys. D flat, C sharp, depending upon how you want to see it. When it's just a separate note, it could be D flat, or it could be C sharp, depending upon if you're a sheet music writer. Sheet music writers will almost always use D flat. What is the scale in D flat? Okay, now that you know the scale, find the chords, the inversions. It's the concept I use, scale and chords. Playing the scale on the higher note, putting a matching chord with it. Now, what other corresponding chords can you put with that? I changed the chords, kept the melody the same, but now put another family of chords with it. Melody stayed the same, but the family of chords change. If I want to go jazz, E flat 7th, or I could do the E7, or I can do a D flat diminished, A flat 7th, because again it's in the family, right? The A flat scale, right? So I'm borrowing a chord from the A flat chord. Why? Because, and this is a secret a lot of musicians won't tell you. The A flat scale is the same as the D flat major scale. It's just where you start the notes. Same notes. A flat, D flat, C, A flat, B flat, C, D flat, E flat. I'm sorry, F, G is there. So one note missing. So one change. So you can borrow, again, what I call cousin chords. Especially in gospel, musicians will create on the fly while they're playing. Someone is singing a song. If they're doing His Eyes on the Sparrow, why should I feel discouraged? Why so, and I'm just, again, I'm not a singer, but I know the melody, so I know what chords I could put around that song. So musicians can do it straight. B flat. Basic. I choose to go the jazz way. Right? Here's that chord. So many chords can just be implemented to support a melody. Nice jazz, nice full jazz chord. F, C, E flat, F, A flat, C, E flat, G, melody at the top. There it is. Changed from a major 7th, right? A flat major 7th. That's an A flat 7th. A flat major 7th. Wait, let me get this right. Right? A flat major 7th. But because I'm starting in F, the whole key changes. That's why I don't have Chordy app running. Doesn't run well with this old system. jazz family of chords has made gospel music what it is. Those chords began to open up the singers. They weren't stuck with once you began to expand the chords in gospel music, the singers now had another place to go with their riffs and their runs. And musicians helped to open that door with their palette of chords. Just I was hearing that change, but I wasn't playing it. And it's just rolling chords. Just rolling chords. I love the movement that you can put underneath a chord. His eyes on the sparrow. I'm trying to remember what scale that is. But the chords, the structure of them, you have to hear it first in your head. I can't play a chord if I've never practiced it before, and then I'm ready to just, I'm getting bothered by some software here. I can't play a chord I've never played before. If I hear somebody play a song with a chord that excuse me, I'm gonna close something. Getting some software popping up on me there. If I hear somebody playing a song that I've never heard those chords before, I have to go and learn them. And trust me, there are hundreds of them out there where I hear them playing chords and I go, okay, how did he get that chord in there? And once I understand where the structure and how they built it and where they constructed it from, then I add it to the other chords I've learned over the many years. So when I'm playing a song and I want to build another chord or use another chord family. Let's take Richard Smallwood's Total Praise. Very basic. Very basic. Classical chords. Turn around. You can't get no more basic in a song than that. Basically, the actual choir voicing is being played on the piano or whatever instrument that you're using. But now, as a musician who has an understanding of where the chords are going, you can now look at that song and go, here's my ninth chord. because I have a working knowledge of where chords can go, I can change the song, not to make it my own, but to add a little more than what the average musician. The average musician should at least follow the basic chords. And if you watch me, I teach playing scales in chords for one reason, because you're going to hear them used in a song. And if you know it already, you go, oh, I know what that chord is. Because I saw it on a video from Mr. Talbot. One note may change from here, but you'll hear that note. You'll hear all the other notes. What you may not hear is this chord. But now you have more time to work on that change. Chords are a tremendous way for a musician to express more than just the melody of any song that they're playing. It's like the soul of the musician. So you have the jazz players who will give you their chords. You have your church musicians who will stay straight. Nothing wrong with that. You have your gospel musician who will just go off the rails. There it is. So, and does that make any of them right or wrong in what they're doing? No. It means that inside of them, their thinking part of their musical theology says, I want to sound like this today. I only want to use these chords. And that's what they'll use. Another side of their brain will go, but I want to do this chord. And yes, at times, welcome, Medasti, if I got that correct. Welcome. At times, I will conflict with what chords I want to use. I'll always try to keep a song straight first. For the first time through. The second time through, if I'm doing that same melody, I'll hear. I want to be a little classical. Because I'll get into that orchestral mode, because that's also part of my background. The band I was in high school was a orchestral jazz band. We learned the 1812 overture as well as music from Chicago and Caribbean music. So I have that. I have all of that understanding in me that says if I need to bring it out, depending upon where I am, for our good friend from Ghana, I'm still learning the South African feel, or the African continent feel for music, because a lot of it is just bottom. Let me see. it's partially 3-part harmony, partially 2-part harmony, depending upon the melody. If you were doing you are Alpha and Omega, that's why I say songs, learn as many songs as you possibly can, because what you're not just learning the music, but you're learning the theory behind the person who wrote that song. Gospel, yes, has 80% elements of jazz in it, depending upon what you're hearing. The songs of the 80s and the 70s, they began to change that culture of the jazz feel, giving you a more, what's the word I want to use? I won't say traditional gospel, a more contemporary gospel feel. If you were listening to the early Hezekiah Walker songs and the early Keith Pringle songs, they will give me that. So that's not gospel. That's not jazz. That is well, I should say that's not gospel. That is a more contemporary gospel that has a lot of movement in it. A jazz player would try to learn "Call Him Up" from Keith Pringle and be going, "What's that guy doing on the piano?" Why is the guy working so hard? Because that's how the writer. Yes, Nikosi. I was told how to. Nkosi Kelele, Africa. Yes, Nkosi. Trying to remember the words. Malo Pakamisu Quanto Kwaio. Oh, I used to know the words to that. I had to play that song many years. Tinas lo Safahuayo Nkosi Sikelela. There's 2 different versions. I didn't learn the full South African version. I learned a very shortened version here in the United States. I tried. I try very much to be into what I'm doing. So if I'm learning a song, I'm learning the lyrics also. So, and that's all really part of it. If you have to in building chords, it's like putting on clothing. You know, you start with a shirt, inner shirt, an outer shirt, pants, shoes, a hat, a jacket. The more you add, sometimes and I've been accused sometimes of not playing enough chords behind a soloist. Well, I say, but I'm not there to outplay the soloist. If her melody is supposed to lead the song, I'm to accompany the song, like a jazz player would accompany his singer. He's just backing her up. Misty. I used to know this chord. I gotta crack on this. That's why I say you gotta learn all different styles of music. Okay, I sort of went off David Gregg ear training. Did I do one video like that? How to train your ear? for me, how you can hear a chord, your ears have to be in tune. I use middle C as my reference note. I should be able to hear middle C play, find it. Again, I'm not a singer, but I should be able to find that note, find that note. I should be able to within myself. If I can't sing and you gotta know. Now, if I'm gonna do the scale, I gotta be able to hear. Now, I don't have it out, do I? No, I don't have it. I have a piano tuner that I can, I'm sure you can use if you have the iPhone and any smartphones, you can download an actual guitar tuner app, and you should be able to sing into that app the note and see the pitch of that note show it to you. It'll show you if you're sharp, flat, right on. I think that may be a good tool for ear training to see whether or not you can replicate a note that you can hum and know where it is. Now I'm still at C. If I went to D flat, should be able to find that. D flat, F, A flat. That's too high. D flat. Back to C, D, E, B, F sharp, A flat, G. Getting a little low. F. There we go. Low range for me. Hey, welcome, Junior. So, if you have an iPhone or an Android phone, whatever phone you may have, I'm sure you have a smartphone, you can get, you should be able to get for free, a guitar tuner app. If you want to be able to begin to ear train yourself, have that app so that you can see what notes you can audibly get out of your, either humming or, in my case, struggling with, so that you could find where your pitch is. Can you hear? I could hear a person starting a song and know by the third note, if I know the song, what key it's in. The young lady who did the Star Spangled Banner at the Republican CPAC thing, I didn't attempt to do the videos of playing behind her. I watched too many tremendous musicians do that, but I would have had a hard time finding her with every chord she changed into. I'm sure they all played that video over 20 times before they knew where she was going to wind up. But, when you know a melody to a song, your ears will train you to tell you if you're playing the wrong notes. Most people should do the American Star Spangled Banner, the national anthem for the United States, in the key of A flat. Let me see if I can find A flat now without even C, 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 bum 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 bum, E flat. Bum 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 bum, A flat, A flat. Okay, E flat. Bum 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 bum. I made a mistake and stayed in C. I should have counted the notes down and saw where the root key would be, and then I would have known where it starts. Again, chords. I'm not a singer, but I know notes. F. C. A flat. That's my range of knowing if I'm in the right key. But if I want to go to B flat and do that same thing, A flat, B flat, E, that's my version of ear training. I have to be able to hear the note before I play it. And that's how you know if you're playing an appropriate chord. You should be able to hear that chord. B flat, G flat, B flat, G flat, A flat, F, D7, D, F, that's G. No. I'm going to change the key to a D flat to go to G. There we go. So the ear training is what's going to help with you building chords, because you have to be able to hear the chord first. C, D, C, E, G, C. E flat, D, D flat, C. So I have to be able to hear all those notes, not just as a single note, but as a chord. So if this is the chord I want, but if I'm doing this, I'm going, no, wrong note. It should be here, not here or here. Unless I'm doing James Bond. That's all James Bond. See, I can easily go to a song that uses those chords. If I heard it played before and used in a song, and I begin to practice it, I go, wait, that's the James Bond. That's the James Bond theme music. And music is just like that. Building chords that you practice, number one, and then chords that can help you support someone singing a song or you creating your own song. I hope I'm sharing something that is giving you an idea of the fun of understanding that you have unlimited chords. Now, again, because I'm more of a traditional gospel musician who uses classical and jazz tones in his music, that doesn't mean I can't play the music of today also, which really doesn't give you a lot of chords to work with. If I was going to take Give Myself Away, I think they did that in, I want to say it's in B flat. At least I played it in B flat. It may be done in D. E, rather. Playing the wrong note, my ear said wrong note. Go to the scale. There is no, unless of course you're going to change the key, there is no A sharp used in that melody. I always correct myself. Now again, these are the basic chords. Going down the scale. I changed the chord. It's that fun part of it. Once you get comfortable, I mean really comfortable, creating chords, you can take any song and change it. I just did that, Give Myself Away in D. If I want to change it and make it more gospel, just by adding a change. Kind of made it, put a gospel flair to it, and it's a little bit of classical jazz to it. Gotta hear all the notes in that scale. Resolve to a D, right? B. There it is. Had to find where the scale was. Who else joined us? Junior, I think I said hello. Hope if I missed you, I'm sorry. But yes, it's the chord building thing. Once you find your comfort level, and your comfort level is when you've practiced not every chord in the book, but at least 10 chords. And what are the 10 chords I say? Let me see, I've got my book here. I want to make sure that I call them out correctly. If you practice 10 chords, and we'll go back to the key of C, and this is a book I have here. This is a chord book. It's tattered now. I've had this now. Must be over at least 20 years. As you can see, these are all the chords, if you're looking at it, in C. And more chords in C. One, two, three, four, 5 pages of chords just in the key of C, not just your major, your +5, your -5, your diminished, your major 7th, your C 7th, your -7th, your 6, your -6, your diminished 7th. I'm just reading down the list. Your C 7th -5, C7 +5, C7 -5. These are all chords that are in the key of C, but are using notes from other keys, other scales. C7 sus4. Yep, sus4. C -7 double flat, the 3rd and the 5th. 3rd and the 5th flat, yep, okay. C minor, -7, now we're flatting. Oh, same thing, it's just a different, no, it's a different chord. You C major 9. C, a C9 is a major 9, it's a C9. Again, all these chords, C9 +5. And still another page of chords to go. This is what my Bible of chords that I've used. Not again, I don't play every chord in this book, but I play the ones that I can associate with songs that I've learned in the past. And if I'm writing a song and I want a particular sound, I may go to that book for a reference to say, gee, what am I looking for this sound? So I can use that chord as a prelude to taking me to this chord. Right, C+5. My C9 to a C6. Change it up. The building of chords, number one, starts from learning the basic chords first. You're getting a chord book to hearing and visibly seeing what other chords in that family of chords. Now you say, well, I'm using these notes because it's in the family of this chord. It's in the family, cousins. That's why they're given different names. You see. I'm doing what is that song? Oh, Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. Twinkle, twinkle, twinkle. Where I first started. It's once you get the basics down of what you want to do with a chord, how you can hear it, number one. Some may only hear these three tones, which I think is the question that, where are you? Oh, Dave brought up, I was looking for your name on the thing, about ear training. Can you hear up here, can you hear that note without playing it? And no words found, because that'll help your ear to hear down here, the range, which these are tones, which are audible tones. I've always watched musicians play in a full band with a drummer right behind the keyboard player and the organ player with no shield. And I shake my head because all I can say is that the damage that is being done to their eardrums, naturally, they won't get back. I never sat behind the drummer when I was an organist, and I had two-tone cabinets behind the choir. I played lower because I understood that they were right behind a 300-watt amplifier. So I did not play so I could be heard. I always felt that if I can't hear the choir, I'm playing too loud. I was concerned with their eardrums, with a choir trying to over-scream an electronic instrument. So if we're doing, what are those songs that really had them screaming? We had a lot of screaming Mimi songs. Wow. I hated playing those songs too. I love playing the songs that let me be a musician. A flat. I'm trying to think of a Hezekiah Walker song. The Lord will make a way somehow. Like the ship that turns and again, same chords. And I say to my soul, don't worry. Yeah, screaming song. I'm sorry, I always made a song into a orchestral piece. So those type of songs, which were high. I always made sure I played below the choir members so that I could save their ears, because I could hear the music. I wasn't, I wasn't worried about if somebody could hear what I was doing. I wanted them to be able to see that, to hear the choir. So for the musicians today that are playing behind amplified keyboards and amplified bass player and drummers with, you know, double thick sticks with 12 cymbals around them, you have my players, you have my prayers that hopefully you are wearing something that is blocking out a lot of that high tone, so that yes, you want to hear what you're doing, but then you want to have a hearing when you reach my age. As I say, I can still listen to any song at a medium to low tempo and hear every instrument and every intricate movement that is in a song. And find it. And be able to put a chord with it that will help to support what it's doing. Make sure we have any other questions. I have some that are viewing, of course, this video. I said a half an hour. I'm into an hour, but when I want to answer questions, I want to make sure that I give the correct response that I can give. I say what I don't know. I have not. This is only one book that I have that I pull out most of the time because it's right here. You can reach over and get it. I have maybe 8 or 9 more chord books. I have a book of jazz chords. I have a book of jazz scales. So if a question came up that, well, what about this scale, Mixolydian, Laodicean, I could go get a book that has that in it. I use the books as references so that if I'm going to go in a particular mode, as I'm looking to introduce more of a jazz mode in my playing, I'll need to know those scales. You saw me struggling with Misty. I know that changed. I'm sure when so yes, I'm looking to do that. Still working on my giant steps. Still working on it. B flat. No, G flat. B flat, G, B flat. Chords, how they were constructed, how they're being used. That's what I'm trying to give you today. It's the world of chords is unlimited. There are so many new chords that are being intermixed into songs. Sometimes it makes my head spin. I got to go back, play it over again, and hear how they building that chord. They're using this amount of notes. I'm just throwing chords out there just to let you know how vast the world of chords are. But it all starts with understanding where you're at the bottom. Use a 9th. Go to a nice change. as I'm thinking about bringing in the gospel chords, there it is. Of course, when on your piano, I'm using these sustain pedals to hold my bottom, so I can put my chord in there. I gotta hear it in my head first. A, G, B, C, D flat, E, D, E flat, E, F, C, A, F. There we go. Not just low down here, but up here. And I can't do up here. I had to fake it, I could. Or here. There it is. That's hard for me to do, but I can hear it. C7. D flat, E flat, F. So I have to hear the bottom, middle, and the top. And of course, know how to maneuver my hands. As I say, when you're doing a chord, before you play the next one, your hands have to know where to form to do that chord. So everything begins with a scale in every key, which trains your ears. For David who wants to learn how to learn to play by ear or get that pitch, you have to know when it's the wrong note. As soon as I heard the wrong note, I went back and found it. So I'm going to stop it here. It's been an hour and 14 minutes. I hope I've shared a little more. I probably will continue this because this is important for me to get across the chord building aspects of songs. You'll listen to a lot of songs and you enjoy the melody and the chording that they use, but then you get frustrated when you sit down and you go, but I don't know what chord they started with. You go to the key. Whatever key it is, especially if it's an off key like A. Okay, if you know the A major scale, but you hear the melody of the song starts in the minor. Oh, those are your first two notes. So you know that this would be a major, and the minor is just the third note, second note flatted. Now you've got the first beginnings of that chord. found in the scale of A, harmonic minor, harmonic here, minor puts you here, minor, harmonic minor. What's the difference? It's the chord family. And with that, I bring it to a close. Thank you all for spending some time with me. As I say, this video will stay up. I may look at how to build my chords too, where we'll take a song, an established song, one which I won't be offending anybody's copyright. I went to a couple of those songs here in this hour and 18 minutes, just to give you the concept that chords are relative. Wherever you start with the chord, it doesn't mean that you have to stay there, but you can branch off into the other notes, as I showed you in the book, 5 pages of chords, which are just for one key. How you doing, Brother James? Nice of you to stop in. I'm getting ready to close this one out, but you can also look, you can always review what I have on here, just covering how to build chords in the concept that I learned it in. So for those, thank you again for those who have come in. I'm looking forward to seeing my 65th birthday on Friday. And for my birthday, I am revamping my entire computer system. So I'm going to probably take a good 4 or 5 days trying to make everything work. I still have this system, which will be the backup for what I'm doing right now. But when I get the new one in, I'll be able to expand more on what I'm doing. I have a better running system. It won't crash as much. Hopefully the audio will sound better, and I'll have incorporate some also different cameras. I like this view, but I want a better visual view for you. I've got my green screen up in the back, but this camera is not really giving me the kind of picture I want to see. But your constant viewing of my pages here on YouTube makes it possible for me to put some coins together to be able to invest in this concept. As I say, I'm a YouTube creator, content creator now, and I love doing these live videos, and I want to do more as the days ahead of me. My mother used to say, if the Lord says the same, you'll be seeing me back here. So thanks for coming in. I'm not sure if I'm going to post anything. I haven't been posting this week. I'm kind of taking a break from, I think went on a 30-song posting since the beginning of the year. I want to sort of scale it back a bit, but I did want to come live again because I haven't been live in a while. And depending upon what happens on my birthday, I'm not sure. I'm not going anywhere. I may come live on my birthday and do my own happy birthday stream. But again, thanks for coming. Hope you've enjoyed what I'm preparing. If you have any questions, please post them. I will see them. I know I have a couple of viewers out there who wanted me to take apart a couple of songs. I haven't forgotten about you. As I say, I try to pace myself in what I'm doing. Tearing apart a song. One of the songs is really in depth for me to tear it apart. And as I get older, I find myself enjoying naps more. So I've actually been doing a little bit of basketball playing just to keep my body active. But this is all part of it. I want you all to learn something from me that I'm sharing, because I want you to be the best you can be, and that is better. If that's a better musician than I've been, certainly I want to hear your posts, see your new songs being sung and being posted here on the YouTube format. So again, be blessed, everyone. Remember, wherever you are, mask up, stay safe, stay healthy, wash those hands, congregate with those that you've known, and be as safe as possible so that you can come and see another live stream. Be blessed. Take care. Bye now.